welcome to episode 2 of SeaJaneKnits. And if you watched episode 1 or my introduction, you know that I'm Jane. And what I like to do is share some of my projects with you to hopefully inspire you to try something new. I have lots of fibers today to share with you, and hopefully that'll maybe get you thinking about some indie dyers or other yarn companies that you might be interested in. So first I wanted to start sharing some of my finished objects or FOs with you. I did a test knit. Alicia Plummer sent out an ear burn to do a test knit for her mini Gale pattern, which is a small version of her adult sized Gale pattern, which is a really pretty simple poncho, perfect for fall. And I had that one actually in my favorites to make for myself. So when I saw the ear burn for the test of the mini Gale, I jumped right on that, because if you have seen anything in my Ravelry page or on Instagram, you know I have a little miniature version of myself. So this was a very simple, quick knit. If you have a little girl to knit for, I would definitely recommend it. She actually released the pattern on Sunday, I believe, so it's out there, and I think she might have a sale going on for it as well. So Alicia Plummer, the mini Gale pattern. This is the front of it. You can see it's a poncho with a turtleneck. It's got some rib sections in here. So this is the front. On the back, it's got the, or not rib, but the pearl bumps, some pearl rows in there that go across. So super cute. I have my jewel clips that I normally use on my shawls here, where one side has a screw and the other side is what you, I guess, screw it into. But there's no buttonhole here. It would just be, once I find the perfect button, it would be a button that I would sew on here. I think I actually am going to move it down just a little bit, because it was a little tight, not tight, but the fit wasn't quite right as far as being that slouchy poncho look. So I knit that in Cascade Eco Wool, and it took less than a skein. So it was really a great fast knit. A skein of Eco Wool, it looks like it has 478 yards in it. So this is how much I had left over, so quite a bit. I did the 4 to 6 size, and you can use any kind of, would this be considered a heavy worsted? Like an Aran weight yarn? I think that's right. Yeah, so I would say a heavy worsted yarn. Look at the pattern though. Don't take my word for it right here, but look at the pattern. But I had all of this Eco Wool in my stash that I had bought years ago to make a blanket, and had kind of burnt out on it once I got 2 or 3 squares in. And so I thought, this is perfect. I have the yarn. I'll go up there and pick something. I thought the cream color would be perfect, whether it's this fall with some brown leggings, or in the wintertime more around Christmas with some red leggings and kind of doing it Christmassy. I thought would be really cute. But it's a great layering piece. Whatever you put underneath it, it's going to definitely keep her plenty warm. So like I said, this is how much Eco Wool I had left over, which is a pretty tight ball. But I did the 4 to 6 size, and I still have plenty left over. I wound this super tight like this because I'm going to make a dryer ball with it. So I don't know if you guys have seen those for sale anywhere or thought about making your own, but the kind of the idea behind it is you put them in, well, first you have to wind them tight and felt them, which you put them inside pantyhose and kind of tie them together to keep it real tight, wash it in super hot water, probably with a couple towels, dry it on high heat, again, probably with a couple towels, and they should felt. And so you put these in the dryer with your towels or load of jeans or something like that, and it helps them dry faster. So I'm probably going to make maybe 6 dryer balls and see how they do. I figured I have the yarn. It's as simple as winding them into a ball and running them through a couple loads. So I'm going to be doing that. I'll let you guys know how it goes, because especially if you have a lot of, it has to be 100% wool to felt, but if you have some scraps left, it might be a good project to kind of use up those scraps. So that's kind of been a theme of what I've been looking at in projects here lately. Yes, I have a lot of full skeins of yarn, but I also have all these partials, and I'm like, I obviously don't want to run out of yarn before I finish a project, but when I have enough left that I feel like I could do something with, it feels not wasteful, but it just drives me crazy that it's sitting there and it's a partial skein. What do I do with it? So 100% wool, I figured at least I can make dryer balls and feel like I've made something else with that skein of yarn. So the mini Gale, definitely go out and purchase Alicia's pattern, especially this week while it's on sale. So go try that. Super quick knit and super cute for your littlest. Okay, so the next project, the next FO that I have that I wanted to share with you is this Briochealicious shawl designed by Andrea Mowry. And you can see kind of as I hold it up here, it's really long. And if you're new to the brioche stitch like I was, this is a perfect beginner's project. So there's sections of garter stitch, the brioche, broken up by more sections of garter stitch, and so on. And then I think this, if I remember right, this is an I-cord bind off down here, which I think is a great finish to any shawl. I love the way that it looks. It's just a real clean edging. So again, I did this as a test knit. I really don't do a lot of test knits, but it seems like here lately it's just been that way. So Andrea, if you've ever interacted with her, she is super sweet, a very kind-natured person. I feel like she's so down to earth, and she's beautiful. If you look at her Instagram pictures, she's just gorgeous. And to have this stunning personality to go along with it, if you get a chance to get on her earburn list, to test knit anything, or even if you get a chance to, just download one of her patterns and try it, because they're written really well. So this shawl, like I said, it's super long. So I had been wearing it just kind of wrapped around once, and then you have these kind of curly ends that drape down, and it's really nice that way. I also thought this winter I would definitely, like under a coat or whatever, wear it and kind of wrap around and tie over here to have it close to my neck, because then you've got all these layers to keep you super warm. So anyway, so definitely worth trying. If you've not done brioche, don't be scared of it. What I would recommend is swatching in the brioche a few times and kind of getting the hang of it that way. But once you get into it, like, I felt so proud of myself because I could actually read my knitting and figure out which row I was on. But there's plenty here to kind of get you going. And I used, as far as the yarn I used on this, I used Tosh Merino Light, which is a single ply. Some people really like that and some people don't, but I love it for shawls because I think it just makes this really warm, squishy kind of fabric. So the colors I used, Silver Fox is this light gray color. And then I have Steamer Trunk, which is the darker gray, which I love. This is Edison Bulb, which if you have, especially if you follow anything with Stephen West, you know that he uses Edison Bulb, and I think pretty much everything he knits. But it's a really fun kind of neon. I thought it'd be fun to kind of throw some in there. And then this blue is the Fathom colorway, which is just an amazing royal blue kind of color. I love that. I knit myself a hat in that. It's not super warm, but I just love the color. And like I said, the I-cord bind off, which makes it a really nice finish. So I'll link to the details of my project, but it took less than a skein of all my kind of contrasting colors, and then I think just into the second skein of the lighter color. So love that. Looking forward to wearing that as the weather cools off, which I think a little later this week it's going to. So I'm excited to get some of those hand knit items out and start wearing them. Oh yeah, my sock. So these I finished knitting a couple months ago. I don't know, it's been a while, but I thought I would share them with you because I was just thinking about some of this yarn. So this yarn is the Regia Fluormania, and it's colorway 7189, super creative. So I guess there's kind of a trend with the neon yellow and the blue, like what's in my shawl back there. But they're, super simple sock pattern, 1 inch of rib, 6 inch cuff, slip stitch heel, Susan B. Anderson's How I Knit My Socks. I think I cast on 64 stitches on a size 1 needle with this. It's a little too big around. It's slouchier than I like them, but that's okay. So I thought those were super fun. And the Fluormania, there's a lot of really fun colors, and it's very accessible and affordable yarn to get. There are 460 yards. So let me show you. I had a considerable amount left over. I split it into 2 cakes, one for each sock. That way I don't know really why I did that, because typically I don't, but I wanted them to match, and I achieved that. But now I have these 2 messy baby yarn cakes. So I don't know. I thought maybe I might do something striped with another color and see how that looks. Whether it's for some leg warmers for Caitlin, or maybe even hold it with something to do some gloves for my son Colton. I'm not sure, but I had a considerable amount left, so I got to do something with it. And again, that's my whole thing. I have all these yarn scraps. What do I do with them? So anyway, fun sock, Regia Fluormania, Susan B. Anderson, How I Knit My Socks. Super easy, super simple. So while I'm talking about socks and Regia yarn, I shared this sock with you last week, and I made a little progress on it, not too much. I don't know what the deal was. I just didn't knit a whole lot this week. I was busy with other things. So I think last week I showed you I was down to about here on the cuff. So I think it was even that night. I turned the heel, a slip stitch heel, and I think I started my gusset. I don't think I got it completely finished that night. And then really within the last week, then that's about all I've knit, and which is kind of sad. I had hoped to have these off, at least this one off the needles, but not much further. Another couple inches, if that, and I'll start decreasing for the toe. But this is the Regia Arne and Carlos one of the colorways for that, and I pulled from the outside of the ball like I talked about last week. I pulled up from the outside of the ball to do my heel, and then started back up with my pulling from the inside of the ball to do the gusset and the rest of the foot. And I like how that looks here, how it didn't break up the pattern. So I think on my self-patterning sock yarns, well, at least when I'm making socks with them, that's what I'm going to do from now on, because I do like the look of it. Probably nobody's, except for me showing you here, when I'm wearing them, nobody's really going to know, but I think it just looks nice. And again, Addy Turbo Sock Rockets, these are size 1s. I think I've got 60 stitches cast on here versus the 64 back there, so I like the a little more negative ease on the sock. So, and I have this, I have this in my Nomadic Yarn sock cube, and it's one of the Christmas ones. So, but you can see it's got this fun candy pattern. Here's her button, and then the candy cane or pinstripe kind of lining inside. And I like to fold it down because it does zip. Then that way my yarn doesn't get caught on the zipper. But I like to fold it down and then pop it back up, stick my sock in there, get my needles in there, zip it up, and then there I go. Sock cube, super cute. I thought about ordering a Halloween one, but I think probably by the time I get around to doing that, then it's going to be pretty much gone. So, so I don't know. I'll look to see. She has some really cute different fabrics on there, so maybe in the near future. And I like that this little handle, I like to hang it on the arm of my chair, and I think that helps hold it there, so it's kind of nice. So what else is on my needles? So I have lots of whips, but a couple of the ones that I thought I would share with you today because I kind of need some motivation to get them done. A group of friends and I all cast on the Ashburn shawl by Melanie Berg, and quite a few of the girls are done with theirs. I'm still on section 1. There's 3 sections, and I'm still on section 1, which is the smallest section. So I need some motivation to get it done, but like I mentioned last week, I'm kind of shawled out, so I think that's why it's been sitting on the needles. There's a front. So this is the progress that I've made so far. I'm about to the end of section 1 where the garter sections between these stitch sections get narrower. I think I've got 2 more garter sections to do, and then I'll do the center section, which is all kind of like this stitch. I think it's going to be kind of time consuming to do that, so I don't know. I might cheat and just do it in garter and hope nobody notices. So anyway, so this coral color, which I absolutely love, is some Anzula. Is it Cricket? I think. It's super pretty, super soft yarn, lovely to work with. The gray is, I feel like this is some Tosh, but I don't remember for sure. So this will be my center section. And then my third section, or my last section, will be this 3 Irish Girls, which has a real pretty subtle variegation. So this colorway is called Gulf of Mexico. Oh, it's so pretty. So this is a custom color that a Good Yarn Sarasota has dyed for them. it's just so pretty. You can see the gray, the greens, the blues. It's really pretty. So this is on their Adorn sock base. I have the same colorway in a base that has some cashmere in it, and I thought that would be really pretty as a shawlette or something nice to have kind of around my neck in the springtime, just with the cashmere in it especially. So the Ashburn by Melanie Berg, I definitely need to get on it. I feel like a slacker because some of the girls have gotten theirs done already and they're beautiful. So I need to do that soon. I need to work on that. Too many whips. I gotta be finishing stuff here. This next pattern, I know you guys have seen it if you are on Ravelry ever. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, so I apologize if I mispronounce, but Hitofude cardigan. I don't know if that's right. This is just very pretty lace cardigan, and it is constantly on Ravelry under the What's Hot Now patterns. I picked some Tosh. I think the colorway is Kitten, and you can kind of, I don't know if you can tell, but it's kind of a brownish gray. It's really pretty. I've seen Joji Locatelli knit with it, and she knit a sweater, I believe, out of it, and it was really pretty. So that's what, when I saw that color and there was enough to do a sweater, I grabbed it. So this is all I have. This little bitty bit. And you can see the lace repeats, and I have these stitch markers separating each repeat just because that's the only way that I can keep track of lace with this kind of ribbed section right here. And I had to do, it calls for a provisional cast on, so that's what this yarn is down here. So I did a provisional cast on and started knitting it, and I'm not exactly loving it. The finished product is gorgeous, and the projects that I've seen, whether it's on Ravelry or if it's, you know, on Instagram, you can, you know, that hashtag Hitofude cardigan. There's some gorgeous ones out there. I just don't know if it's a project that I could actually finish right now. I really wanted to have it done for fall too. It's not gonna happen. I'm half thinking about just going ahead and ripping out what I've done so far and knitting something else, maybe like a featherweight cardigan with it. It's such a pretty color, and it's such a me color, that neutral that would go with everything. That's what I go towards. So I don't know. We'll see. It's sad because the pattern is beautiful, the finished product is beautiful. I'm just not feeling knitting it right now. So maybe something more simple. And I feel like the featherweight cardigan would do that for me. So many people seem to be knitting that here lately. I knit one for Caitlin a couple years ago, and I knit it as her sweater to wear with her Easter dress in a real pale pink. It was in Tosh Merino Light. The colorway was Molly Ringwald, which I absolutely loved the name of it. And I think that I knit her the size 3, and it took less than a skein of Tosh Merino Light to do hers. I did it as a 3/4 sleeve. Maybe I'll share that in another podcast. You know, as I was putting together the stuff that I was going to share today, I thought, especially having that mini Gale, I thought there are so many cute things that I've knit for Caitlin. Those fun little projects for kids are just, They fly off the needles. You get more of that instant gratification versus knitting an adult size version of it. But then you also get to learn all the techniques associated with knitting a sweater or something with lace or whatever it might be. So maybe in a future episode, I'll try to gather some of that stuff up, both the stuff that I've knit for Caitlin and Colton, and share some of that because I think that might be kind of fun to do. So let me know what you think. If you think that would be a good idea and you'd be interested in seeing that stuff, definitely let me know. I have a thread on the Ravelry group to get your guys' input and see what you would like, you would like me to share, whether it be techniques, projects, fibers, something about myself. Just make a note on there and let me know, and I'll try to incorporate it in the next episode. So yeah, so that's kind of sad. I thought I would like knitting that Hitofude cardigan, but I don't think that much lace is something that I really want to knit right now, even though it's gorgeous. So that was my whips and my FOs, and because I want to kind of keep the time on my podcast a little shorter, I'm not sure I'm going to share everything that I brought with me today, but I'll share some of it. So this pattern I purchased, I don't know, when was it released? I saw it's an Alicia Plummer pattern called Cracked Pepper, and it's knit in this beautiful tweed. I think she released this maybe last fall. As soon as she released it, I jumped online, got the pattern, ordered the exact same yarn that she hasn't knit in, and I haven't even cast it on yet. So I don't know if there's another picture in here or not. It doesn't look like it. It's a real pretty, very simple cardigan with some buttons. To me, the design is gorgeous, but the yarn is absolutely what makes it, and I am a huge lover of tweed yarn. So, like I said, I went out and bought the exact same yarn that she knit hers in, Color Adventures, and it's the Dia Tweed, DK, in the Raven colorway, which is this kind of brownish charcoal gray color with these beautiful flecks of cream and brown tweed in it. It's just amazing, absolutely amazing. And so, like I said, I ordered the yarn about a year ago. The turnaround time on it was super fast. I'm sorry, I can't think of the dyer's name right now, but she was great to work with and super responsive and was awesome, because basically I just wrote her and said, here's the pattern that I want to do. I want to knit it in the exact same colorway and everything that Alicia has, so please, 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 can you dye it up for me? And she did, and it was great. So I have this yarn, and I have some real pretty brownish black buttons to go with it. So I'm thinking about casting this on. I'd really like to be wearing it this fall. So I think this is probably going to be my next project. Cracked Pepper by Alicia Plummer. Can you tell I like her patterns? So I think that's going to be the next one. I really want to cast on a sweater, but like I said, in that lace one, I think it's too much lace for me to knit right now. So if I'm not feeling it, I'm not going to do it. I also have, so this is some Quince and Co Chickadee in the Storm colorway. And I have a sweater's worth of this. I believe this is a sport weight. I have a sweater's worth of this that I actually bought for Hannah Fettig's Moto jacket pattern, which is super cute. It's a really, seems like a very wearable piece. I'm not 100% sure when I'm going to cast that on because I really want to get that cracked pepper done first. I don't want to cast on a bunch of things and then feel like I have all these whips. I do enough of that, but it's fun to try yarns and to do it that way, but I'm going to try not to do that here in the near future anyway, but I'm sure you'll catch me on that. So the Moto jacket was what I bought this for, and it's the exact same color yarn that she uses in the picture in her Home and Away book, which I have behind me, and it is an amazing book. If you get the opportunity to look through one, even better to purchase one, there are some great patterns in here. Not only the patterns that are lovely, the photography is just amazing. I mean, let me see if I can find that's the sweater. I mean, in the, typical fashion of her patterns, the photography is great. The patterns are written very clearly. There is a section in here that talks about whether you knit something seamless, or whether you knit it so that you have seams. This is another pattern that is amazing that I want to knit really badly. So if you get the opportunity to purchase it, or at least look through it, it's definitely a go-to. She talks about sweater construction, a set-in sleeve, a raglan sleeve, seamed versus seamless. So, of course, I love her. I talked about the featherweight cardigan earlier, which is another one of her patterns. So, she talks about gauge, which if you've knit a garment and then came to find out that it doesn't fit, you know how important that is. So, Home and Away, it's a great book. It's just great sitting and reading, even if you don't feel like knitting. It's so interesting to hear the way it's written. It's like she's talking to you. So it's a great book. So anyway, Moto jacket at some point maybe in that. If not that, probably another Hannah Fettig pattern. She has I think it's called the lightweight pullover. It's kind of a loose turtleneck. I think it's raglan. It's a very classic piece, something definitely that's my style. I might do that. Another yarn that I wanted to share. So last week I talked about Plucky. This week I'm going to talk about some Plucky. So this is their crew, and just this, actually there, that color is better. So this colorway is called Gilded Age, and it is just the prettiest kind of brassy golden kind of color. I thought it would look really pretty in the fall. I'm going to get my hair done tomorrow actually, and go a little darker, so I think that'll look better with it. It's so funny holding it up to my hair, but anyway. So Plucky Crew, it's a DK weight yarn, and the garments that I've seen knitted in it are just amazing. It's 75% merino, 25% cotton, and for me feeling it, I would never think that there was cotton in here, even that small percentage. So anyway, it's just a very breathable fiber. Like in all Plucky yarn, the colors are amazing. So I'm thinking this might want to be an effortless cardigan, or some very staple kind of piece that that'll get a lot of wear out of. So we'll see. I have a sweater quantity of that, and I don't think I mentioned it last week. Again, Hannah Fettig. She has both a pamphlet as well as an app, which I know is available for iOS. I think she was working on an Android version as well, but it's called StashBot. And it's great. You put in there what kind of garment you want to make or accessory you want to make, what the stitches per inch of the yarn is, what kind of your size measurement is. I think for sweaters it would be like your bust measurement, and then it'll tell you how many yards you need of that specific yarn. And it's a great way to not buy too little, but not also on the other side, not buy too much. So there's actually a really funny YouTube video advertisement for it that if I can link in the show notes, I will do that, because it's totally me. That the end of the video, the lady is like, she's pulling out yarn from everywhere. It's in drawers in her kitchen and pots in her kitchen. I'm sure my family feels the way that family does, where it's just everywhere. Yarn is everywhere in my house. So, and I wouldn't have it any other way because I love it. So anyway, so Plucky Crew, I thought I would make some kind of DK weight sweater with that. Let's see, time-wise, I don't know. So you saw my socks that I already have, and I should finish up that one in the Regia, Arne, and Carlos this week, and I'll try to cast on the other one just to get the pair done. So hopefully in the next couple weeks I'll have that pair done. I was going through some yarn from a trip, and I came up with these sock yarns, which I really want to do something with, but like probably cast on another pair of socks since I'm shawled out. But I just don't know which one to cast on. I thought this one, which is Madeline Tosh sock, and this is in another of a Good Yarn Sarasota's custom colorways. It's called Midnight Pass, which I don't know. It's a little more green than what's showing up there. Not, I don't know. It's a little more green than what shows up on the camera. So I thought these would make some beautiful, maybe with fun stitch pattern socks. This is again, 3 Irish girls. The colorway is Catherine Hepburn. Love her. And it's kind of this different tones of gray. I thought that would be really pretty. This is in their Glenhaven Cashmerino fingering, so it's got 80% merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. So I could do some really nice socks in this, or I could just kind of hang on to it and do it in some kind of shawl later on, which now that I'm thinking of it, might be what I do. Okay, so I've heard tons of great things about Socks That Rock from Blue Moon Fiber Arts. I've never used any of it before. Maybe some yarn shops around here carry it, but I've not seen it. This is in their Never on Sunday colorway. I mean, just how pretty is that? It would even make a great pair of men's socks. This kind of purpley fuchsia kind of color here, I think would still be okay even with men's socks. But so this is their Never on Sunday colorway. Is there anything? It's 100% superwash merino, so since there's not any nylon content in it, I'm not sure that I would make those in socks for my husband, just because of the durability, but I probably will make this into socks for myself. I actually bought these two yarns together to make the batade, which is a Stephen West, and I was trying to go with something completely outside my box because I just don't normally put these kind of colors together, I always gravitate towards something with gray if I'm putting two colors together. So I don't know. I mean, I guess I could still do that, but I'm kind of feeling this for socks. So maybe I'll find something else to put with this one. This yarn I bought from my local yarn shop, Knitter's Nook Columbus. I bought this last fall, I believe, when they first came out with this colorway. So this is the Care colorway in Twist Light, Madeline Tosh Twist Light. I'm sorry to say that I don't want to sound unintelligent when I say it. So you can see it's proceeds go towards a good cause. I think it says 10,000K for MSF. So I just thought it was beautiful and knew it went towards a good cause, so I bought it. Actually, I think my mother-in-law got this for me for Christmas. So I'm pretty sure at Black Friday, we went and they had this on their shelf, and I said, I really want some of that. I know it's beautiful and it goes towards a good cause. So she picked it up, and it was in my Christmas present. So how fun. And it's got a quote from Maya Angelou on the tag that says, nothing will work unless you do. So definitely believe in that. Hard work always pays off in one way or another. So it's gorgeous. So I think it would make beautiful socks. Maybe something with a slip stitch pattern to show off the variegation would be beautiful too. And then this yarn, one of my best friends gave this to me, and I just think that it's gorgeous. So this is Felix. It's a self-striping. I'm not going to try to pronounce the name of it because I'm pretty sure it's French and I don't know enough French to pronounce it, but 384 yards in this skein. It's self-striping with the browns and the purples and the citron. So I'm kind of feeling this for socks, especially since it's self-striping. And I kind of feel like it might feel a little bit Halloween-y to me just because of the time of year, and the brown always makes me think, the fall time, and kind of the way that the different tones of purples are put together. So here's the tag, so you can kind of see, again, from a Good Yarn Sarasota. So, and there's the info on it. So I'm thinking I'll probably cast these on as socks as soon as I'm done with my Regia ones. So hopefully within the next week, I got to get on knitting that second sock. So I think that's probably all the yarn I'm going to share today. I'll save some of the other things for next week. I did want to share kind of some non-knitting related stuff, but still kind of feel good things. So I was watching a Homespun Houses podcast, which I absolutely love. If you follow her, that's awesome. If you don't, you should check her out. Her name's Molly, and she is just super enthusiastic and seems very sweet. So one of her older episodes, she was going through what's in my knitting bag. Well, I thought, what about what's next to my knitting chair or where I normally knit? So I found this candle, which smells so good. It's called Sweater Weather with a cute little squirrel. So I found this at Bath and Body Works. I don't normally buy candles from there, but it smells really good. It's kind of reminds me of, I love Yankee Candle, kind of reminds me of their leaves scent. So, but I thought it was cute, especially since it said Sweater Weather. So I'll probably burn that one next. I have a pumpkin one that's burning now, and when that one's done, I'll do this one. This time of year, you got to have your hand cream, which I'm not sure if it's going to show up there or not. Naked Bee Absolutely love their products, both their chapstick, their body cream. This is their hand lotion. Orange Blossom Honey is the scent, and it's very nice and refreshing. Actually tried to put on some lipstick today. I'm not sure if it's still on there because I was drinking my coffee earlier, but this is from Lip Garb, and some of our local salons and stuff like that carry it here in Indiana, but this is called the Ava Violet colorway, and it is the perfect colorway for brunettes. So if you're a brunette, it looks amazing, and the packaging is fun. It's got, if you can see, it's got a mirror right here, so you can look in there and do your lip gloss. It also has, if you can see how it's lit on the end there. So if you're trying to put it on in the dark, I guess, or whatever, you can see what you're doing. So kind of fun Lip Garb, and this color is just super cute. And I think I'm going a little darker with my hair, so hopefully it'll look even better. So definitely show notes below. Let me know in the Rav thread what you want to see me share, talk about. If you're interested in the kids' knits, if there's a certain technique or a fiber you want me to share, I will. This time of year, I talked a lot about sweaters, but it's definitely accessory knitting weather, because you've got those warm days and the cool nights, so you can kind of have some pieces to layer with. So, maybe that can be a theme. And it might actually be fun to dig through my closet. I'm not very good at keeping all the mittens and hats and everything all together in one place, so they're kind of spread out, like I mentioned, along with my yarn. So maybe I can gather all those together and kind of do a share of those projects in another podcast too. I don't know, we'll see. Just let me know what you think. If you like my podcast, please feel free to share it. If you follow me on Instagram, great. If you don't, please do. It's SeaJaneKnits, and same as this YouTube channel. So please follow me there, where I'll post pictures of the things that I've shared. You can see some of the other stuff that's going on in my life. So I hope that you had fun watching the stuff that I shared, hearing me talk about it. Maybe some of the different fibers inspired you to go out and try something new. Check out your local yarn shops. If you have one, that's awesome. Take advantage of it and see what they have to offer. If you don't, there are some great online stores and great resources there as well. So if you have any questions, please definitely let me know. Ask, whether it's, direct messaging me on Instagram, whether it's through the Ravelry thread, however you want to get a hold of me. It's awesome. Please do. I'd love to hear your feedback and help you in any way that I can. So until next time, have a wonderful week. Hopefully you get to wear some of those fall knits, and enjoy whatever your latest project is that you're knitting. Thanks. Bye.